Man, they never thought it would be, but here we are. No Cap Radio, episode 2. This one we got a special guest.
Special guest, Tyte Mic in the building.
Tyte Mic, my brother. And before we get into all that, we gotta catch you up from the last show and how we transition to this show. Cause we like to do the what's coming next. And you know, what we had coming next this weekend was the cookout. I hosted a big cookout, but I was by myself, and I just got my 2-year-old daughter back. And my man, bless his heart.
So you claiming you hosted it, right? I was kind of mixed up with that because I know I said, man, let's have a cookout. So, but at your spot, you know.
Exactly. So it was your idea. I said, I'll supply the food in the venue, right? Yeah. And that was it.
That was it. Man, look, I got up. I knew I was going to at least 30 minutes late. So I hit him. I said, look, I'm on my way, man. I'm probably about 30 minutes late.
Bruh, I'm so ashamed.
Bruh, don't need, hey, it happens.
I'm so ashamed. Y'all, the cookout, look, me, I be doing Instacart a lot. We do Instacart. So we did an Instacart at 10 a.m. The latest is 4 hours. So hold on. Oh, that's still 2 or maybe it's 2 hours.
Yeah, it was 2 hours. You told me 2 hours.
Yeah, it was 2 hours. So I'm thinking 12 o'clock the food be here, and then the cookout at 1.
Right.
We get straight on the grill. Man, they didn't get here till...
And I called this man at about 1, and he said, the food ain't here.
The food ain't here.
I said, in my mind, I'm running late anyway. Maybe by the time I get there, you know, the food will be there. So I get there, my man already frazzled because the little one going off.
Yeah.
I felt bad. I was like, nah, man, it'll be good. Everything gonna fall into place.
Yeah.
So then, you know, the homie was coming too. So Bo pull up. Bo get out the truck. I done went out there and hollered at Bo. He's like, man, what's going on? I said, hey, man, the food ain't here. He said, man, what Dion got going on out
there? The food ain't getting till 3-something. I don't think we ate till like 6.
Man, we might not have got on the grill till 6. It felt like.
We was on black people time for sure. So, long story short, I had run and get charcoal, but by the end of the night, everybody had a good time.
Oh yeah, food was on point.
Everybody had a good time.
Kids ain't even noticed. We over there.
Exactly.
We running around like a chicken with your head cut off. Kids was good.
And so I ate that food a few days later too. For real. Them ribs hitting.
Yeah, man.
Them hot dogs, hamburgers hitting. That chicken hitting. Them beans hitting. What is that, macaroni salad?
Man, it was all on point, man. It came together though. You just gotta stay positive sometimes, you know, even in the worst feeling situation.
In the turmoil, boy.
Yeah,
I mean, man. There was a lot of pressure that day, but we pulled it off and, you know, got into this exciting week of what's the incident, man? Jacob Blake?
Jacob Blake, Kenosha, Wisconsin. I'm sure y'all heard about it.
Wow.
Yeah, and it started the week off. You know, like I said, you look for positivity, try to stay positive. I know I was in work I got there a couple minutes early. I put on my phone, I got on Instagram. And as soon as I seen the video, man, not even 2 to 3 seconds into the video, it was just tension. I'm just, in my head, man, I was just like, Lord, please, don't let him kill this brother, man. And from what I seen from the video is he was walking away from the police. He's walking to his car. It was like 5 to 7 police standing out there. He was walking to his car. He got into his car. As soon as he got into his car, they unloaded on him in the back, shot him in the back about 7 times.
He was in the car?
I mean, he had opened the door. You know, he had walked around his car. He was getting into his car. They claim he was reaching for a knife. They said the police said drop the knife. But at the same time, he had his 3 sons in the back seat. You know, they said, and then another instance, they said he was checking on his son. I'm gonna say he was checking on his son.
See, but they can say anything.
Exactly.
He's pulling out a gun, a bazooka.
Exactly.
You know,
like I said, I'm gonna say he was checking on his son, you know, and then come to find out, man, he done had this man handcuffed to the hospital bed. He was paralyzed. They had him chained up like an animal. So then a couple days later, they having a protest for Jacob Blake. A 17-year-old and his friend must have been just chilling at home. They received a call about info that it was a business, a local business owner whose dealership was being destroyed, auto dealership.
In Wisconsin.
So not sounding like it was directly to him, like, look, we need help, come down here. We just got a little info, like, yo, so-and-so said this, word of mouth. So him and his friend decided to, strap up, and they was gonna go down there and protect the business. So they went down there, and long story short, they ended up killing 2 of the protesters, injuring 1.
So maybe that's the story I heard about them, protesting, and these 2 white men, had killed the 2 protesters and then walked by the police and they gave them something to drink. That must have been the backstory. I don't know. I didn't see the video, and I haven't read that deep into this, but I heard something similar to that, and that's what had happened.
Yeah, when I looked him up, man, they had a picture of him. He was claimed he was earlier that day cleaning graffiti off of some building.
Wow.
And that was the photo that they showed, on this report. Of course, law firm is claiming self-defense. And this is where it get to me, man. Honestly, this is where it get just kind of disrespectful. It say he exercises God-given constitutional, common law, and statutory right to defend himself. Now, I looked up, when I read that, I said, well, let me look up, how old do you have to be to carry a weapon in Wisconsin? It was 18. The legal age was 18. Now, then they went on to say a 17-year-old should not have to take up arms in America to protect life and property. That is the job of the state and local government. However, those governments have failed, and law-abiding citizens have no choice but to protect their own communities. Honestly, man, I feel like they, at this point, is just taunting. It's just taunting black people, taunting minorities.
That sounds like that stand your ground law that they got down in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Where you on your own, protect your own, and that's the law.
Right.
Whatever to protect your own.
Mm-hmm. And then to make matters worse, I saw a video that the police was basically saying that y'all wasn't supposed to be out there anyway. They wasn't supposed to be out there anyway because it was past curfew. So he was basically saying if y'all wasn't out there, then you wouldn't have got shot. This wouldn't have happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's their fault.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they said,
So like I said, man, then we gotta say his name, man. That's why he's saying say his name. And honestly, it scares me because it's like how many more lives is it going to take, or what is it really going to take for them to open up their eyes? And it comes down to this Black Lives Matter, man. I look at Black Lives Matter as a religion. Everybody been, invited to church, or, somebody saying, come to my church, you might be going through something, you need some guidance, and come to the church. So obviously somebody has told them about it. They told you. And when you leave, if you had a good time, if you, feel like you want to invite somebody else, and you invite somebody else, and, because you feel like they could use it.
See, I feel like it's a certain type of people that have that way of thinking. Mm-hmm. And it's the certain people that don't want to face this reality that's happening with the names. You know what I mean? Yeah. They don't want to face what really happened. Mm-hmm. So they turn the other cheek. And I remember you told me, you said, man, you have a close friend of yours who is a staunch Trump supporter. Mm-hmm. And and you asked me my opinion or my take on that, and I say, man, look, it's at this point, it's 2 ways you going. Mm-hmm. Either you don't give a fuck, or you just that ignorant, and you just completely oblivious to what's really going on in reality. Mm-hmm. So or
at the same time, you could be ashamed. A lot of people are even ashamed that it's happening. They know what's going on. They just don't want to admit to it because they're ashamed that it's going on.
Exactly. They just trying to ignore it and can't face it. So they choose to side on this way. Yeah. And kind of just disregard. Disregard everything that's happening and whatever they following, bro. I don't understand it, man.
Like I said, man, this Black Lives Matter is a religion. We trying to, it's a thing, man. We tired of begging and pleading. You know, I read it was a post today. I was on IG again, and you know, this white girl put something up. She said, "I'd rather offend my white friends than disrespect my black friends." And honestly, that's what we need. You know, they're not going to really listen to us. And it's a lot of people out there, you know what I mean, that aren't black, you know, that aren't minorities, that are standing up for us. And I appreciate that. You know, that's beautiful.
They are.
It's beautiful. And that's what it's going to take, but it's going to take for the right person to be reached. And I don't know how long that's going to take, man, but, you know, we got to keep talking about it. We got to keep it fresh. You know, we can't let it go by the wayside. So, man, just keep preaching it. And the thing is, a lot of people are like, well, I'm not saying you have to go to a protest. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you have to put a Black Lives Matter sign in your front yard, but like I said, in the religion, what they teach us, we grew up in Christianity. So it's whenever you had a chance to preach to somebody or tell them about the word of God, use that chance, use that opportunity. That's all I'm telling people. If you believe in it and you have the opportunity to tell somebody else that might not, you know, understand it, or, you know, they might be, you know, turning the other cheek to it, let them know, man. Just tell them.
Yeah, man. Just be conscious of it.
Exactly.
Make sure everyone is aware of the realities that we're facing in 2020. It's a new decade. It's a turn of the decade, and a lot has changed. Our whole way of life has changed in the past 8-9 months.
Exactly.
You know, this is a totally new era that we entering into, and that stuff needs to be recognized worldwide, regardless of the race. So shout out to all the people that are not black, that are still marching for what's right, for what's fair, you know, what's just.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
And that's really what it's about. So shout out to y'all, man. We love y'all, man.
Yeah. So yeah, man. What else went on this week? Chadwick Boseman. That was man, I'm telling you, it happened that night of that storm. I'm telling you, I don't know it wasn't storming everywhere, but that thunder came through and shook the house, man. When I heard about that,
For real?
Yeah, bro, that was
you
deep.
look like that nigga.
Hey, you know.
Anyway, man. Anyway.
Yeah. So, man, you know, shout out to his family. Shout out to, you know, everybody that was affected by that. But, you know, what I got from that, and honestly, it was deep because nobody knew. You know, a lot of times those things get leaked out, and somebody, you know, you tell somebody like, yeah, you know, he was dealing with it for a while. I haven't talked to anybody yet that knew that he was going through that.
And for him to go through that in silence, I'm sure his camp knew, but to the public, you know, he's just losing his weight. No one's really, you know, noticing or taking really like seriousness to it. Like, oh man, you know, until bam. And they say it was 4 years he was battling. So when he shot the movie,
he said he did a bunch of movies. He did at least
because he did what's the name afterwards, the end game after Black Panther.
In game. A couple ones, man. Bridges. I know Bridges. I don't know if you've seen that one. He was in there.
Oh, the new one that's on Netflix though. The Five Bloods.
Yeah, he did that.
But he was slim in that one.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, he was slim in that one, man. But wow, man.
Yeah, but I could give. I mean, bless him, man. You know, like I said, bless his family and everything. But it can definitely give you motivation, man. If you just everybody going through something. Now, like you said, it's 2020. You know, everybody dealing with something. But for the fact that he was dealing with something, you know, so deep, and just kept it moving, kept it pushing, kept it grinding, it just give you, you know, just try to have that mind state. No matter what you're going through, you know, keep pushing.
That's
keep trying to accomplish your goals. You know?
That's right, man. That's right. And we all going through something, man. And just, you know, to keep moving forward is the kind of the key to everything. As long as you living, move forward, and things kind of unravel themselves for you in your favor just by continuing to push forward. So,
exactly. So yeah, like we said, we all going through something. I think that brings us to our topic today. Man, we got something special for y'all. Talking about mental health, and like we said, we got a special guest. You know, we're gonna bring them in. We just hope that we could touch somebody. So we got Tyte Mic in the building.
Yes, sir. Tyte Mic.
Yeah, what's up, fella?
Yeah, man. Welcome to No Cap Radio.
Thank you.
No Cap Radio, man. And this is my blood brother. Everyone say we look like twins back then. We probably still do, but you know, we. I don't know who he got the more handsome gene, I reckon.
Yeah, I think I get the most looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, man, as far as like mental health, a lot of people speak mental health awareness, and we love that. But what we wanted to do was add a spin to it and speak to someone who has actually been through it, you know, on a serious level, and how he came out of it, what he went through when he was in it, and what's the plan going forward. So that's a lot of questions. I ain't gonna throw them all on you at once. But the main thing is, let's start from the beginning. The diagnosis. What was it? How did you feel when you were diagnosed with whatever, and what was that whole process like of finding out that your mental health was at risk?
Well, when it first came to me, it was because my family thought my thoughts were delusional. You know, this started about 10 years ago. So it was I think it sprung from my education at university, where I was learning so much about technology and the capabilities of technology that it kind of skewed not actually my perception of reality, but what was actually possible in reality, you know? So basically, my mom's brothers and sisters all joined together and took me to Mary Washington Hospital, and they just gave me to them. And then from that point on, I was in the system, and I ended up in Snowden at Mary Washington, and that's when I got my diagnosis of schizophrenia. And that first trip to Snowden, it was all about, how do I get out of here?
Right.
How do I get out of here?
I'm sure you felt like you shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Right.
So when you say like being exposed to all of this technology, you were a computer engineer major at the University of Virginia. That's one of the top elite public schools, and especially in that engineering school. What were you being exposed to that you thought may have triggered this?
Well, it was more than just exactly what I was exposed to as far as the capabilities of technology. It was also my journey through college and not finishing, which put me in a state of needing something to fulfill myself, to find success, to find a way to provide a way of life for myself. So from that constricted experience led to me looking for possibilities in life of building a new dream.
Okay. And I know, like, me and Tyte Mic has had this whole street dreamer entertainment movement going since at least 2006, 2007. And we've always dreamed big, but what was it that you were actually going for that you may feel like was actually too big, or air quotes delusions of grandeur, right?
Right.
That made it a little over the top? What was that?
That would probably be my what I thought my dream was becoming reality. I thought that, as you say, the Black Lives Matter being a religion, I see hip hop being a kind of a euphemism also.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And,
So's the hip hop.
Yeah, man.
When you said hip hop is a euphemism, see, that's the fine line, right? Of believing that what's in your mind is real. That's what dreaming is. You know, believing in your mind, in your dream, that you are there even when you're not. Like, that's how things manifest.
Yeah.
You know, so that's not particularly a bad thing. I guess it's just it can be taken too far, or in a literal sense. And when it when it gets out of your mind and it's like you're behaving that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's really bad at carrying yourself like you are who you want to be someday, but
I mean, I think at a certain point you just gotta keep it realistic, you know? And I don't know if that's, you know, it kind of went outside of reality for you. Is that what you say? Or, you know what I'm saying, you didn't take it that far?
Well, the dream started becoming a reality.
Okay.
The dream started becoming reality, and as it was manifesting, it was changing me because it made me feel bigger. You know, it struck my ego. So that rubbed some people the wrong way. So I had to learn how to ride with it differently. You know, I had to learn how to ride with it a lot differently.
Okay. And so I really want to talk about how you came out of it. You know, you say you went in there and your whole time was, how do I get out of here? How did you do it?
It's, well, that kind of draws into the racism that the mental health industry is in America is built on. You know, the only way out is to comply with taking the medication.
Conforming
to the medication.
So
Believing in the medication.
Do you think you needed the medication, or you just took it to get out of there so that they would be like, okay, he's taking it, he's good? Or did it help you? Or both?
The antipsychotics that they put me on never helped me. They never helped me. They had negative side effects to me. They give me negative side effects. They slow my motor skills down. They slow my thinking down. It just slows a lot of processes down for me.
But I think you saying that is it just makes you wonder, because when you think about that industry, that's what it's built off of. It's built to keep people down when you think about it. Why would they want you to get out? You know what I mean? They're making money off of you. That's what they're profiting off. You know what I mean? I don't know if you ever felt that way, you know, but when I think about it, you know, in any job, you know, if you work at the hospital, you need people to be sick to have a job. If ain't nobody sick, well, then what are you doing? You know, you're not getting paid.
And they pushing them drugs.
Oh, yeah.
That's the main money maker right there. Pushing them drugs.
But I'm glad you stepped on that point, because that brings me to when we had that conversation earlier this week, and we would like hold it for the podcast. It was some information that I wanted to share with y'all, because you asked me how could I pinpoint a time where I've dealt with racism during my journey dealing with the mental illness. And I couldn't really pinpoint it because it's inherently built into the system. Because I found out that there's this guy that was a doctor in the 1860s named Samuel Cartwright, and he developed two mental illnesses in America, and one of them was called drapetomania, which was supposed to explain the slaves' urge to run away from the plantation.
Wow. Wow.
And there's this book that also brought that to light. This was after I found out that information, but it also touched on that same information. The book is called The Protest Psychosis. And the subtitle of the book is How Schizophrenia Became a Black Disease.
I'm interested in how did that happen? Or were they just labeled schizophrenic because their behavior, such as wanting to run away to be free, or how did they?
Schizophrenia didn't exist at that time. That illness was coined to be drapetomania, but schizophrenia started as it was given to like housewives in about the probably I would say the 1940s, 1950s, and it was to explain their symptoms, and it was not associated with delusions or hallucinations. It wasn't until the civil rights era that it was associated with not only delusions and hallucinations, but also aggression. And the aggression from black males, which was stemmed from being oppressed. Mm-hmm. But as they did in the 1860s with the slavery diagnosis, they used that same format to basically control what they saw as something that would go against the status quo. Something that they were preventing from happening, which was what they considered to be civil unrest when people were simply gaining their civil liberties that we were promised in America under the Constitution.
Right. So they took the original creed of America and saying, hey, if you're this race and you're pursuing it, then you're a criminal or mentally ill, or they'll label you as something.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that is exactly where we are today with the fight for democracy in America. I feel like the next war in America will be whether with democracy or anti-democracy. And that's really what we're going against when we sit there and say, oh, they can't understand the other side, or they choose not to face that side. The original creeds that the founding fathers put in this Constitution are being, what's the word?
They're not being upheld.
They're not being upheld today. And I think that's the big back and forth with Democrats, the whole parties. That's what we're tiddling with now. Whether we're a democracy or authoritative, I can't think of the word, man.
They need to rewrite that thing.
Yeah, and I agree, because when you think about it, it didn't pertain to us anyway. It didn't pertain to us in the first place. So when you think about it, is it being upheld?
How could it be if it wasn't for us to begin with? It was for them. So them creeds they apply to everyone but us. So that goes back, and that's proof. And I remember Mike told me, he said, man, racism is so ingrained in America that you can't really get away from it just by a white man being American. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. How you say it, Mike? How did you say it? With the white, you said racism is so ingrained in America.
Yeah, so ingrained in America that its systems are inherently racist. They're inherently racist. But that leads me into another concept that I've just recently learned, which is the white extinction anxiety. And that is the fear of the white race going extinct. And not only that, not to that extent, so to speak, but also of the white race becoming a minority in America.
In fear that we may do the same to them that they did to us. And I spoke about this. I said, man, what have black people ever excluded white people from? Just because you did it to me don't mean I'm gonna do it to you.
Right.
We've always been inclusive in everything we did. You know what I mean? And hip hop is our bread and butter. It's, you know what I mean? That's never been only black man's thing. You know,
They just portrayed us in such a light that
but that's
we
not
don't have hatred in our hearts.
I
Like that.
know, exactly, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, as long as it's all love, it's all good with us.
It's all love, and that's why at the George Floyd funeral, Al Sharpton said, we don't want no extra handouts and nothing like that. We just want your foot off our neck. You know what I mean? We don't need nothing extra. Just get off us. That's it.
And see, that's what made me mad, because that's what they think. We asking for something
Nah, man.
materialistic, or you know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
man. Even playing field.
Yeah.
That's it. Equal opportunity. The creeds that they have, let that apply to us.
Yeah.
We was promised that 40 acres and a mule, and we need it too.
Yeah, we
need it.
Man, so to get back on track with
they got 400-year head start on us, man.
That's true. Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah.
We've been playing catch up.
But I want to know, for the people who may be dealing with, like, everyone I feel like has been through some sort of depression.
Whether you know it or not.
Whether they know it or not, and some people have been through more severe or extreme measures of mental unhealthiness, I would like to say. So what message do you have, someone who been through it, came out of it, and is perfectly healthy now? We're making music, we're doing videos, we on the podcast, you play a big role in this. What message do you want to send to the kids that may be dealing with it, or people who have came out of it, or people that advocate for it? What do they need to know from a patient's point of view? What do you want these people to know that are rooting for people like you?
Do your research. Understand what you've been diagnosed with. Learn your medicines. Learn the side effects of the medicines. And if you can get away from the antipsychotics, because that's what they want you to have, because the antipsychotics can have some very bad side effects. Instant cardiac death. It can cause deterioration of the brain. So stay away from that diagnosis if you can in any way possible, because it's set up against us. That diagnosis in itself, and I still have much more reading to do in the book.
Is there any steps you can take, preventive measures, to not become mentally ill? Or is there anything that you do now to make sure you don't go back into it?
Just don't run from your imagination, but also be careful who you share it with. Be careful who you share your imagination with.
So I remember right before I was doing the Do What You Do video shoot, we talked on the phone, and I let you know I was doing this for mental health awareness. And I was going, I played the whole mental patient. And on that phone call, before I went and shot the video, you said, I asked you what you want me to tell these people. What type of insight should I give them? And you told me whatever they believe in their head, to keep believing it. So what exactly did you mean by that when you said that? I interpreted one way of just the same way like I was explaining earlier, if you have this dream in your head, because that's actually a line in the lyric, these dreams in my head, I just can't let it go. So if you have your dream in this head, was you just trying to say, believe in your dream no matter what, or in your imagination, or?
Now, see, it's some things I can't relate to because the psychiatrist will always ask you, are you hearing things or are you seeing things that aren't there? And I've never experienced that. If I hear voices because there's a voice speaking, I don't hear voices in my head. Never had that. I've never had a hallucination. I've never had any of that. So I can't really speak for those people that actually go through that. And I don't know if it's possible to even to in reality to go through that. Mm-hmm. Based on what they diagnosed me with, I'm supposed to be going through those things, but I've never experienced none of those things.
And were you on the? Now you said you kind of got addicted to the medicine, right?
No, I never got addicted to the medicine. I always wanted to be off the medicine. Okay.
I wondered, does that play a part though? When you think about it, people that have got addicted to that, taking that medicine, eventually I'm sure that will come with it, You're going to start hearing things in your head. You're going to start seeing things.
You think the medicine is doing it?
Man, I honestly, because I think it's made to keep you on it.
See, the medicine plays with your, any psychiatric medicine plays with the dopamine in your brain. That's what the psychiatrist kind of studies, the dopamine in your brain, So I don't know too much about biology and that extent, but it's like the psychiatrist has the ability to diagnose you with an illness that they cannot prove you have, and you also cannot get rid of it.
So the whole diagnosis thing, how do they come up with this diagnosis and say you have this?
They have no clinical trials. They have no scientific evidence. It's just from conversation like right here we're having. If one of you were a psychiatrist, based on the things that I'm saying, then you would surmise a diagnosis about it.
So it's all for conversation?
Right, you don't take no tests?
Conversation and observations.
Wow. And they diagnose you with some serious stuff, man. To just do it off of a whim of a conversation or interaction with you, and they don't even know you.
That's true. But my diagnosis has changed from schizophrenia to schizoaffective disorder. And if you ask me to tell you the difference between the two, I really could. But from what I understand, it's where you're aware of your delusions.
Yeah. That makes sense, though. That makes sense.
But I tell them every time that every psychiatrist that I have, I'm allergic to antipsychotics, and they give me one anyway.
Man, my man allergic to them. Get them off it. So the last point we want to get to is you moving forward from here and now. What are you doing to move forward, and what are the plights that you're faced with at this point, trying to get your life back on track from what you went through?
Well, I'm going to keep chasing the dream I have, man. It's a big dream, and it involves several people that I admire, and I'm hoping that we can make it work, and until they see that it's true, I'll be crazy.
But this is No Cap Radio, so be specific. What are you trying to do to move forward, and what are some of the roadblocks that you're seeing? Because I can imagine, rehabilitating to society as a mental patient is sort of like being a felon. You coming back and it's harder to get a job. It's harder to get a loan or whatever.
Well, yeah, I'm currently want to pursue finishing my degree in computer engineering from University of Virginia. And the roadblock that I'm facing in that situation is I need to have my student loans discharged, my federal student loans discharged. And my psychiatrist, for some reason, will not sign the form for that to happen. So I'm struggling with that, and I'm not sure if it's for her personal reasons or what it could be. She won't explain to me why she won't.
Let's see this.
Why she won't handle the form.
Yeah, now that's the thing. Why wouldn't she explain to you? You know, I feel like if anybody should know, it should be you. So that to me just sounds like, I mean, at the end of the day, she's holding you back. You know,
with no explanation.
Right.
Is it does he
Trying to
feel
keep
he
you-
isn't suited? But how can you be not suited for further education? Like, how can you say, "Oh, you're not ready for that"? Like, you know what I mean? That's hard to say. Like, you're not worthy of a degree based off of a health condition. Think about that for a second.
Well, to give her the benefit of the doubt is it could be one of a few. It could be a few things, but one of those things is that she could be putting her license to practice in jeopardy. So, but on that same token, if she's putting her license to practice in jeopardy by, signing a form saying that I'm disabled, then maybe I'm not disabled.
But how is that jeopardizing her license? By signing in and saying, "Oh, he's good to go," and
Right.
you really not be?
I'm not sure. I think I've been misdiagnosed, and they know that. The people there's some psychiatrists that talk to me, and from their judgment, they know it's a misdiagnosis, but they don't want me to get rid of this disease.
So this like a monkey on your back that you can't get off because you've been labeled it once and that's going to follow you. But not only that, they won't at least lift enough off so you can get your degree.
They have some kind of fraternity, so to speak, for lack of a better term, where they're respecting the opinion of their predecessor. Whoever originally gave me the diagnosis, they're respecting that, and that's probably where the systematic racism comes into play. It's because for whatever reason that they decided to diagnose me with that in the beginning, they wanted to follow me through the rest of my life.
Is there any way you can go back to that initial psychiatrist and be reevaluated through them?
Well, it actually just dawned on me because I don't remember who that is, but
Yeah.
it just dawned on me that I need to get access to my medical history.
Yeah, your medical records, man.
But you also stated earlier that you can't get rid of it, right? So once they label you, is that stuck with you basically forever? Or is it like a symptom, like you have the flu and you get rid of it?
Yeah.
Or is it not like that? They treat it differently.
Well, is that a question on resume interviews and stuff, like a disability? But if that's what I'm saying, you go back to the initial psychiatrist and they be like, "Oh no, he's good," you don't have to say you have that disability anymore. So now, you good as gold. But then it's like, well, what about your job history? Why is there this huge gap? You know what I mean? So that's the catch to say, well, it's rehabilitation. And it's like, it's very similar to people coming from prison and coming home and just not having any opportunities to rebuild their life. It's very similar to that, the way it haunts you and it labels you. You know what I mean? So that's something that we want to get. I know there's a lot of people that speak about mental health and awareness and things like that. We want to get these wheels churning for you guys out there and ideas that can be presented to help my brother, and you know, things that you all have done, and you know, things that you all would recommend that we do in order to properly be rehabilitated into society. You know, so definitely give us feedback on that, and we definitely want to close out the show with the trivia first and foremost. So I got a good one that I've been thinking about. So you gotta ask me the question, cap or no cap?
All right, cap or no cap?
All right. So me and Mike was at Longwood, where I went to school. And J. Cole came and did a concert there before he was J. Cole. And he called me and Mike out on the stage. Cap or no cap?
He called y'all out on the stage.
Me and Mike.
I'm calling cap.
Cap.
Yeah.
That's no cap, bro. I don't think I capped you once on this show. I'm gonna cap you next time.
I stay capping you, bro.
But that's no cap.
He called us secret fans.
He called us secret fans. And you know, that's a white school, right? It's all white. So you got these white kids going crazy running to the stage. And some of the black, some of the people I know that were black were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But me, man, I'm out there with a book bag of my own CDs.
Right, but shout out J. Cole, man. I saw him again for the For Your Eyes Only tour, man. And it was I saw his progress, man.
His progress.
Yeah, it was good to see that. You know?
Yeah, shout out to J. Cole. And it all came full circle. Because the next one, the next trivia, I could do it now, I could save it for next time. But it all comes full circle. It's a good one.
So go ahead with it.
Domi Dow Jones has a song with J. Cole, cap or no cap?
I don't want to hurt the homie feelings, so I'm gonna say no cap.
It's no cap.
You lay in peace as if the streets are couches shit. You see me on my bouncing shit, watch how I put you out this shit. Man, I'm making so much money, gotta pay somebody to count this shit. Probably gonna make my accountant sick. Boy, I'm high in the mountains, kid. These new niggas ain't talking about nothing, cause it's obvious they ain't been around this shit, so they bound to split. When it go down, profound with these pronouns. Ladies loving J. Cole now, so you better not bring your hoe round. You know the residents, Dirty South Confederate. Hey, we should hold elections. I say Bun B for president. He represent them real niggas. TX to ATL to NC, yeah, them fair niggas. Them trill niggas, hey.
Them real niggas, them trill niggas that deal with you. Get this deal with the banana clip and feel niggas. Yo, we feel niggas like Bun and Pimp. We still miss you and we still stick to the code. Dicky, fuck, heel, figure, respect is what we give niggas. When it's due, up in school as a lil nigga. Bumping that U, G to the K. Probably why I'm a G to this day. No hard feelings, that's why I'm up on this feature with Jay. Cold World, Vietnam, Carolina to the VA. Texas, what it do? We underground like we in PA. Pulled off to the Congress. Hell yeah, Bubby for president. A blessing, the last living legend that they done left us with. You know the residents, Dirty South Confederate. We should hold elections. I say Bun B for president. He represent them real niggas. TX to the ATL to VA, yeah, them real niggas. Them trill niggas, hey.